Jeff the Killer by Nisha Nicholson. Chapter 1. Naomi, are you ready to go? My mom called me from downstairs. I grabbed my suitcase and pillow and headed downstairs. Yes, I'm ready, I sighed. Do I have to go to camp? Yes, you do. I signed you up and paid for everything. I went out the back door and put my things in the trunk. I got in the front seat. You'll have fun, Naomi, Mom said. You might even meet someone there. Sure, Mom. You always say that. I put my headphones in. I always get this feeling when something bad is about to happen. I got that feeling on the way to camp, and something usually always does happen. Last time it happened, I cut my hand open while slicing lemons and limes for juice. I still have the scar. We got there, and I got my stuff out of the car and went to find out where my cabin was. On the way there, I passed a kid who looked like my age. As I walked by him, that feeling got stronger, but I dismissed it. I stopped and looked at him. He had a white hoodie on. He also had short brown hair. Why would you ever wear a hoodie during the summer? I thought. He looked at me. He had blue eyes I couldn't help but stare into. He smiled at me, so I looked away and kept walking. I mumbled, weirdo. I met my counselors and campmates, and we went to our cabins. We had 2 hours before dinner. I put my stuff down by one of the beds and walked outside to the fire pit and plugged in my headphones. I sat there for a while, and when I was changing my songs, I heard a branch crack. I got up, and then I took my headphones out and listened. It sounded like it was behind me, but I didn't want to look. I was afraid it was some kind of wild animal. I felt a hand on my shoulder. I screamed and turned around to see the kid from earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I scare you? He asked. Yeah, kind of, I said. My name's Jeff. I'm Naomi. I noticed earlier you were staring at me. Why? I stopped and thought, why was I staring? So I made something up. I was staring because you're wearing a hoodie during the summer. Yeah, so, he said. It's weird, I said. It's the way I dress, Jeff said. No, not really. I sat down and Jeff sat down next to me. So, have you made any friends here yet? Jeff asked me. No, I'm not really the social type. What about you? Well, no, but there is this blonde who has apparently developed a crush on me. Speaking of which, there she is. A girl with blonde hair and green eyes walked past us. She had on a pink shirt, a pink skirt, and pink flip-flops. I think this girl likes pink, I said. She looked over and saw Jeff. Hi, my future husband, Jeffy. Hi, Mallory, Jeff said in an annoyed tone. I turned and mouthed, Jeffy, really? Jeff just shrugged his shoulders. She came over and sat in between us, pushing me off the bench. Hey! I yelled. Oops, my bad. Did I do that? Mallory asked sarcastically. I got up. Are you okay? Jeff asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Jeffy, don't pay attention to her. I'm so much better than that. She pointed at me when she said that. I felt rage boiling inside me. I wanted to slap those blonde highlights out of her hair. Mallory, please don't do this, Jeff said. She didn't listen. She knows I'm better than her. I'm richer, smarter, and more popular. And she stood and got in my face, and I'm much prettier. Jeff's perspective. I knew that last comment pushed Naomi over the edge. I watched as her body tensed up. I knew she was going to do something she would regret. Did you really just say that? She asked. Yeah, I did. And what are you going to do about it? I heard the challenge in her voice. Then I saw it. Mallory had hidden a knife in her skirt pocket. I got up. I didn't know what to do. And I got this weird feeling. I felt dizzy and dropped to my knees. My vision clouded. Mallory grabbed the knife and twirled it. You see, I can make you beautiful, if you let me. No, get that thing away from me, I heard Naomi say. Oh, come on. It won't hurt that bad. Mallory grabbed Naomi by her shirt. "Let me go!" she screamed. Then I blacked out to more screams. I woke up, and Mallory and Naomi were gone. There was some blood on the ground. I got up. "These feelings keep getting worse and worse," I mumbled. I walked around and saw a cabin with pink light and heard a bunch of girls laughing. Now, I'm sure that Jeff will want to be with me, since that other girl won't be around him anymore. I got closer to the cabin when I heard Mallory's voice. "So, what did happen to Naomi?" "Well, what happened, Jane, was that I was only going to make her beautiful like me, of course. But sadly, she refused and pulled a knife on me." "So, what did you do next, Mallory?" another girl asked. "Well, Sally, I was quick and took the knife from her and cut her. See, this is the knife I took from her." "So, did you kill her?" Sally asked. "Of course not. I just merely scared her. I guess I don't need this knife anymore." I heard the cabin window open, and Mallory threw the knife out. I picked it up. It had blood on it. I touched the blade, and an image flashed in my mind. I shook my head, freaked out by what I saw. I put the knife in my pocket. I figured I would need it again, but I just didn't know when. I walked around more to see if I could find Naomi. But I walked all around the camp, and I couldn't find her. The only place I hadn't looked yet was the lake. I walked down there, but I couldn't find her. I started to get worried. What if Mallory had lied about killing her? I sat down in the sand. "I don't know why I didn't stop her," I said. "Stop who?" I heard someone say. I looked around. "Up here," the voice said. I looked up and saw Naomi on one of the tree limbs that overlooked the lake. "What are you doing up there?" I asked. "I don't know. Just hanging, I guess." She jumped down. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "I was looking for you." "Why?" "Because I was worried Mallory had done something really bad to you," I said. "Well, she did. Just look." She showed me her arm, and it was all bandaged up. So was her leg. "She also cut my back and my waist," she said. "That girl needs to go to therapy or something," I said. "She needs more than therapy," Naomi said. "I've known her my whole life." "Well, that must have been really hard for you," I remarked. "Yeah, it's been like this since we were little. It wasn't too bad back then. All she did was pull my hair, which turned into biting. Then when we were about 10, she got a clique of other girls together to push me around. Then at 12, that's when the knives came in," she said. "Wow, that's awful." "Yeah, it is." We sat in the sand and watched the water. "Blondes are crazy," she said. "I want revenge, but my mom always says revenge is never the answer." "If you want, I could talk to Mallory for you." "Are you sure? You don't have to." "Yeah, I'm sure." "Thanks. I would hug you, but I I would bring more pain to my wounds." I thought, sure, I would talk to her. But I had something else in mind. The image flashed, but I didn't dismiss it. I embraced it. "We should head back," I said. "Yeah, it's getting kind of late." I stood up and helped Naomi up. On the way back, Naomi surprised me with a question. "So, Jeff, do you like Mallory?" "Huh?" I asked if you like Mallory. I stopped walking. Why would I like a psycho? "I was just asking." She walked ahead of me and stopped. I looked around her and saw why she stopped. There was a girl walking towards us. I realized that it was Sally. I ran up beside Naomi. Sally stopped and looked at us for a second. "I have a message from Mallory to Jeff." I stepped forward. "What does she want?" I asked. "She wants to talk to you by her cabin," Sally said. "Fine, I'll go see her." I rolled my eyes. "Just between us, I don't like her. She's mean. I secretly think she's a witch." Naomi laughed. "Mallory is much more than a witch. She's a rattlesnake in pink flip-flops." "I don't know why Mallory doesn't want you hanging around Jeff. Y'all are cute together," Sally giggled. Naomi coughed. "I didn't say anything." Sally walked over to Naomi. I'm Sally. Sorry about what Mallory did to you. I'm just glad she didn't kill you. I am Naomi. And yeah, I'm glad she didn't kill me either. I have to go now. Mallory is probably looking for me. Bye, Naomi said. Sally walked away. I sighed. I really didn't want to go to see Mallory. So many images flashed in my mind at that moment. Hey, Jeff, are you okay? You look a little pale, Naomi asked. Yeah, I'm fine, I said. I guess I better go see what Mallory wants. I started walking away. Jeff, she started to say something. What is it? Never mind. I shrugged my shoulders and walked on. I looked back and saw her running back to the lake. Naomi's perspective. I couldn't bring myself to tell him. I don't know why, but I just couldn't. I sat in the sand and pulled my phone out. I had a text from my mom. It said, Hi, honey. How's camp? I hope you're having fun. Have you met that someone yet? I laughed at that last part. I had, but I didn't want to tell her I did. I stood up and started throwing rocks into the lake. I stood there while the clouds covered the moon, which shrouded the shore in complete darkness. I guess it's going to rain. I better get back, I said to myself. I walked slowly back to the main site. It started to sprinkle, and then it went into a downpour. Can this night get any worse? I said. I kept walking at the same speed back to my cabin. I came in soaking wet. Hi, Naomi. I haven't seen you all day. Where have you been? Katie asked. I've been around, I said. I changed into drier clothes and put on a camouflage jacket. God, this storm is crazy, I said. Yeah, I wonder where the rest of our cabin is. Probably in the mess hall playing cards or something, I said. I lay down on the bed and read one of my books that I had brought. You're going to have to tell him sometime, Katie said. Tell who what now? I asked, looking at her. Tell Jeff you like him. Who said anything about me liking Jeff? Sally came by and told me how she said you two were a cute couple and how you were shuffling nervously. I didn't shuffle. I coughed. I said, See, you just admitted to it. Shoot, I mumbled. Katie laughed. The cabin door opened and two other girls came in. Hey, May. Hey, Lacey. Hey, May said. We brought you two back a dessert from dinner, Lacey said. My stomach growled and I sat up, realizing I'd missed dinner. Here's some banana pudding for Katie. Awesome. I love banana pudding. And a large brownie with vanilla ice cream drowned in chocolate syrup for Naomi. Awesome. I couldn't possibly live without chocolate. Thanks, Lacey. You're welcome. I ate the whole thing in about 2 minutes. I sat there for a minute and then lay back down and continued to read. I tried to ignore that nagging feeling in the back of my head. It just kept coming back stronger. I plugged my headphones into my phone and turned on Katy Perry's Dark Horse. I listened and read, ignoring the feeling. Whatever it was, I didn't want to be involved. Our counselor came in and tossed a napkin with something in it onto my bed. I sat up and looked into the napkin. Inside it were 3 buttered rolls with honey inside of them, and they were still warm. Thanks, Kayla, I said. No problem. You must have been really hungry because I didn't see you at dinner. Oh, I was in the nurse's cabin getting some wounds taken care of. I showed her my arm. Oh, what happened? I cut my arm on a rock, I lied. Oh, I hope you feel better. Thanks. I went back to reading and listening to my music. Everybody's Fool came on by Evanescence. I thought, this describes Mallory so much. I started to get sleepy, and just in time, too. Okay, girls, it's about lights out time, Kayla said. I put my mark in my book and snuggled into the covers. I fell asleep right straight away. I had the worst nightmare ever, though. I was walking along camp in the early morning fog, and there was a trail of blood. I followed it to the cabin that was 3 miles away from mine. It looked really familiar. I didn't want to walk into the cabin, but the trail of blood led to the door, so I walked up the steps and slowly opened the door. What I saw was a bunch of bloody bodies of girls that I recognized. One body was Mallory's. I screamed so loud I could have woken up the dead, but I'm glad I didn't. I ran out of the cabin as fast as I could into the fog. "Where is everybody?" I yelled. I ran down the hill and bumped into someone or something. I stopped. In front of me was Jeff in his white hoodie, but it was all bloody. He turned and looked at me and said, "I talked to Mallory and her friends for you." He held up a knife. It was the knife Mallory used to cut me. "Remember this? I used this to talk to her." He laughed. "Who are you, and what have you done with Jeff?" He grabbed my shoulders. "I am Jeff, Naomi." I screamed, "Someone help me!" I woke up in the middle of the night sweating. Did that really happen? Then I heard a scream.